We're here with Henri from God Dethroned. If you don't know him, you're missing out. Fantastic black and death metal, mellow death, kind of a little mix of that stuff. Great sound. I was jamming the new single. Oh my gosh.
You like
Wha-
it?
Oh man, it is fantastic. Just
Thanks.
it's beautiful. I know you guys have been around for almost roughly 30 years at this point, right?
Yeah, 34. Next year,
Oh
35.
gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. Do you, how does that feel for you to be around for that long?
Oh, by now I don't. It doesn't feel special anymore. I mean, I guess in 1990, when somebody would have said like in 2024 you're still around in the band, I probably couldn't believe it. But now it's like, yeah, this is part of my life. It's
Yeah,
one of the main things. So for me, it's not so strange anymore.
that's
Um,
awesome.
it feels good. So that's the most important thing.
Yeah, for sure. I think a lot of us back in 1990 thinking forward, like, oh, you'll still be alive in 2024. And you're like, oh, that's so far away. I don't think so.
Well, I guess being alive is not such a strange thought, but to play in the same band, since I was 18,
Yeah.
that's a weird thought. Yeah,
Yeah, it
and I guess
really is.
a lot of your viewers, listeners were not even born then. So
No.
I guess that's a part of it.
Oh, I think we froze. We did. I think I lost you.
Ah, there you
Oh,
are.
yeah, I don't know what happened.
I don't know. The screen froze, and that was it. I couldn't do anything.
Yeah, it froze over here and I was like, "Oh, I lost you." And then it I think it was an issue with Zoom because it kind of
Yeah.
got up and restarted and I'm like, what the hell's going on?"
Yeah. Okay. So I don't know where we were. I don't know what was the last thing I said.
Uh, I gotta think. I was so enthralled with like, "Oh my God, I lost you." Um, just talking about being a band um still together after 34 years.
Yeah.
Um, starting in 90 and looking at the
Exactly.
yeah.
So yeah, I think I said like many of your viewers were probably not even born by then,
Yeah.
1990. So that's the funny part.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy to think that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, that's a long time. And most bands they don't last, that long.
No.
You've got, I don't know, probably a 5 to 10 year like shelf life on most bands.
Yeah. I guess it depends if there's some sort of success. You know. It's not easy to build up a name, and it's not easy to get a record deal and to be able to release an album and to maintain the whole thing. It takes a lot of energy,
Yeah.
and it's not for everyone. And so you need a lot of quality, but you need a little bit of luck, and you need to pursue what you're doing, and you have to love what you're doing because it's not going to be easy. It's gonna not going to make you rich. It's something you gotta love to do, and that's the only way to make it to 35 years.
Yeah. So, for you, like when you guys first started, how hard did you really like hit it and tour and put out music?
Well, the beginning was the most difficult part for us. We were formed in 1990. We had a demo in 91 and our first album in 92. So that went really quick. But the relationship with the record label was not that great. It was very hard to keep everybody in the band. It was hard to get shows. There were no real tour agencies who did extreme metal back in the day, so it was quite hard to maintain the band. So that didn't last very long. I think first time we split up was in '93 because I didn't have a band anymore. And then I got a new band in '96 or end of '95. And then we did the Grand Grimoire album, and then we got signed to Metal Blade. And that's when things started to get better. You know, they did a lot of promotion. They managed to get us on the right tours. And that's where we started to build up a good name. And that helped a lot.
Yeah. People don't, I guess, you know, I'm it's very different now than it was, you know, back in the 80s and 90s. I feel like with labels back then, it was really important for a band to get attached to a label.
Yeah.
Because that power would help you get to the, you know, whatever that next level is.
Yeah, and it's still the case. I mean, technically you wouldn't need a label anymore because you can put your music on Spotify, for example, or Apple Music or whatever. But you still need someone to promote your music. And of course, you can all do it yourself. It's possible. There's bands who do it successfully. But it's not so easy. And having a record label, you know, with a strong promotion department, the budget to you know, to make you go to a decent studio or you know, to get a good production, things like that are very important still. Yeah, like I said, you can do it on your own, but it's not an easy job.
No, it's not. You have to be a jack of all trades, you know,
Yeah.
to be able to do that. And you know, to the record label, I think the recording technology has come so far that you can get, you know, you can get a really good quality recording in a bedroom now versus, you know, back then. I mean, you know, early days of black metal, you listen to a lot of those recordings and you're like, oh, this is terrible.
Yeah, well, yeah, you know, back in the day, there were also not a lot of people who understood how to mix extreme metal.
Right.
So yeah, you had to be lucky to find a studio that could handle it. And so yeah, things have changed. Nowadays, you can do a lot yourself. Techniques have changed. The people with the knowledge are more around. Um, it's easier nowadays. Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
Definitely.
Well, and so with the upcoming album, you guys connected with RPM, right? Reigning Pheonix?
Reigning Pheonix.
Reigning Pheonix, yeah.
Yeah, we with Illuminati, the previous album, we completed the third contract for Metal Blade, and we felt it was time to move on. You know, we owe everything to Metal Blade basically because they put us where we are now, or they brought us to a level where we are now, and it's been great to be on Metal Blade for 25 years. But at a certain point, you need to try something different. You know, and it's nice to be on Reigning Pheonix because it's a new label. They want to prove themselves to the bands. We want to prove ourselves towards them. So there's a lot of energy. There's a spark, you know, to make things happen.
Yeah.
And that's something you need as a band. Sometimes you need to change situations to get something better, versus staying where you are and nothing will change. And you never know if things will be better in the end, but you know, if you don't try, you will never know.
Yeah. Yeah, you live with regret at that point.
Yeah.
So so far with RPM, how do you feel they've done for you all?
Well, I think they did a really good job so far. They do a lot of promotion on a very frequent basis. They gave us a very more than decent recording budget and budget to do videos. So it all looks very good, and we'll find out afterwards, if it was good enough or not, or if there's room to grow or not. We'll see. But so far, we're very happy with the choice we made.
Yeah, I feel like so RPM's been around about a year and they've picked up. I feel like they're just grabbing uh anyone who's anyone in extreme music and bringing them, together under their like canopy.
Yeah, well, before it became Reigning Pheonix music, it was Atomic Fire, and it was basically a lot of the staff of Nuclear Blast.
Yeah.
It was the previous owner of Nuclear Blast who founded Atomic Fire, and now he sold Atomic Fire as well, and now it became Reigning Pheonix music. But this is basically the whole staff of Nuclear Blast working there. So there's people with a lot of experience. It's people that everybody knows in the industry. So there's a lot of bands who used to be on Nuclear Blast now went to Reigning Pheonix music. So it makes sense in a way.
Yeah. Well, and to have that experience behind you, regardless of what level of a band you are, you always want someone behind you that has some experience.
Yeah, definitely.
And they
And
they've def
it's a lot of experience there, I can tell
yeah.
you.
Yeah, a lot of experience and a proven track record too, which is speaks volumes.
Yeah, definitely.
So walk me through the writing process on the latest release.
Um, well, we did a single called Osmodius in 2022, which was basically the start of the new album. Nevertheless, it took quite some time to get the rest of the album together. Um, I think somewhere last year I wrote another song called Hubris Anorexia, and then that was the point where the whole band said, okay, that's the direction you want to go. So now we can do our thing as well. And then it went pretty quick. I think we finished songwriting last January, and then we started recording, and we had the album recorded and mixed, I think March, April, something like that. So yeah, everything went pretty smooth. The guys came with a lot of ideas, a lot of good ideas, also different things. I didn't tell them what they can do or cannot do. I just gave them all the space to do whatever they liked, as long as it would fit to the God Dethroned image a little bit.
Yeah.
And they did an amazing job.
Well, so far everything I've heard off it is fantastic. I'm really looking forward to the full release and listening to it from start to finish because that's us older folk like it from start to finish.
Yeah, that's still how we put an album together. For people who want to listen from the beginning to the end.
Yeah.
So we put all the songs together in a certain way, so it takes you through the highs and lows of the album, through the atmospheres and stuff. And I guess that's what the fans still want to hear. And I realize that there will be a lot of people who will only hear the singles or a song in a playlist. But we still make the albums for the fans who really want to hear the whole thing from beginning to end.
Yeah. Well, that's the way I think a lot of bands do or and should do, I guess, is you write the album and it comes out beginning to end. You sit down and you listen to it and you're right. You have your peaks and your valleys. You
Yeah,
follow the journey of the album and it's a good album takes you to a place, takes you with it.
yeah,
I feel
definitely.
I feel like this one's gonna do that for a lot of people.
Oh, I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's a pretty good album, and it's worthwhile listening to. And the reviews we got so far were really positive, so I have a good feeling about it.
for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, what kind of physical copies are coming with the album?
Well, we have, of course, the regular CD, Digipack CD. I guess 3 types of vinyl and different colors, and also the cassette again, because there's a lot of people who are interested in that again as well. So we
Yeah.
did that too. So that's going to be the versions available, and so there's something for everybody.
So do you know the colors off the top of your head for the vinyl?
Yeah, it's white, it's marble blue or something, and it's yellow splatter black.
Okay.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. I like the different variants because I'm a bit of a vinyl nerd, so like I'm like, oh, I like this album. Oh, it's got like 6 variants. I have to go buy every single one.
All right. Well, you don't have to buy 6 different ones in our case.
Yeah,
You just
just
have to buy
three.
3. Yeah.
That's okay. Three will do. My wife will ask me again, like, why'd you buy three of it? Well, I gotta collect. I've gotta
Yeah.
collect them all.
Yeah. Well,
Now, do you with you like outside of the band, do you collect vinyl or get into anything like that?
I do, but not a whole lot. But I still collect vinyl. It's nice to have big artwork,
Yeah.
and it's nice to have it on vinyl. I still have a record player. I have it since the early '90s, and I will never get rid of it. So yeah, I like to have it because it's something special.
Yeah. You're right.
Yeah.
That the big tangible artwork, it transform. I know we're pretty close to the same age. I think a couple of years difference, but it transforms me back to being a kid and like you can read the lyrics on the page and you don't have to put on readers to understand it.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot of people who just look at the Spotify list and they have to figure out what it says on the album cover.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, that's sign of the times, I guess. But if you want to look at great artwork, you should buy the vinyl version.
absolutely agree with that. Absolutely. I I like that vinyl has had a resurgence and over the last few years and really been selling a ton. Seeing a
Yeah,
lot of artists put more vinyl out again is nice.
yeah,
Good for everything except my pocketbook.
yeah. That's the only disadvantage.
Yeah. So Henry, what bands are you listening to right now that you think other people should listen to?
I liked, Frozen Soul a lot. Uh, Judas Priest, but everybody knows that, of course. Um, I also listen to a lot of non-metal bands. I'm a big fan of David Gilmour, so I listen to his new singles right now because at the same date as us, he will put out his new album,
Yep.
September 6th. So yeah, I like that kind of stuff too. Um, I listen to smaller bands. I listen to all kinds of stuff, but not
Yeah.
only not only metal.
No, there's too much music out there to only be stuck in one vein.
Yeah, well, there was a time where I, got up in the morning listening to metal and went to bed late at night listening to metal. But at a certain point, you discover there's more than just metal, and it will always be a big part of my life, of course. But I like other types of music as well.
Yeah. Well, David Gilmour, that he is such a great songwriter, but his guitar phrasing is I don't think anyone else can nail it like he nails it, you know?
It's definitely very special.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, he's one of a kind, and yeah, I don't know. It took me a long time to get into his songwriting. Pink Floyd was a huge band for many, many, many years, and I just didn't like it until I saw a DVD of a live show, and then I was like, "Wow, this is great!" And then everything changed. And since then, I'm a big fan.
Yeah, it's funny how that works, right? Because there are bands that got a couple of bands I've listened to on album, and I'm like, I mean, it's okay, and then I see them live, and it's like, oh my
Yeah,
gosh,
yeah, that's
some of,
unbelievable.
yeah, uh, it's amazing what that live show can do for a band.
Yeah, yeah, true.
So, for you guys, I know you've got some tour plans coming up. What is that? What does that look like for you all worldwide?
Well, we're going to start off with a European tour on September 26th with Batushka and Ultimas. It's going to last for a month all over Europe. And then early 2025, we're coming over to the US and Canada for a tour. And then we want to do Latin America, Australia, New Zealand. That's all in the works. And then once we've done that, we'll do it again, do Europe again and the US again. And so that's the plan for next year.
Awesome. Do you don't have, well, it's not been announced yet. The US has it. The US states.
No, they have not been announced yet. They're about to be booked very soon. And so I can't give you any details yet, but and I don't know when the details will come out, but eventually you'll find out
Yeah.
when we're coming over. It's probably going to be somewhere in March and April.
Okay.
So it will take a little bit, but it takes a lot of preparation also to tour the US. It's not like you get on an airplane and get out and just do a tour. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately.
Right.
There's a lot of paperwork included. So yeah, we need a lot of planning ahead.
Yeah. All the visas, making sure all the paperwork's in order. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
How how long is that process for you guys to come over here?
Oh, it takes a couple months.
Wow.
Yeah, and a lot of money.
Yeah. Everyone wants their hand in that pocket, right?
Yep, definitely. But what can you do? I mean, it's just the only way.
Yeah.
For US bands can just come over to Europe and do a tour, which is awesome. But it's not the other way around, unfortunately. So
I don't know that it's that easy to go that way either.
yeah, well, you can't stay forever, of course, but
Yeah.
you can do a tour and without any problems. You don't need a working permit or anything. But that's the good part for the US bands.
Oh, that I didn't know that. I figured that they would need like a work visa or whatever to go and do that.
No, they don't.
Hmm.
Not to tour. No, that's perfect.
Yeah, you hear that, US bands? Get over to Europe.
Well, same for Canada. You don't need a work permit to tour Canada, but you do need it for the US.
It's, it's so weird. No
Yeah.
one no one needs it, just us.
Oh well.
Yeah, that's so silly. So in all your years of playing, is there a place that really sticks out as like you always look forward to go and hit this town and this club?
Well, a little bit. I'd like to play everywhere in the US. But there's certain places where you have well, we played before, and there's people and it's great to see them again. It makes it extra special. Places like New York and Los Angeles and Seattle and places like that. But on the other hand, it doesn't really matter. As long as we can play and there's people coming to the shows, then I'm really happy. And I
Yeah,
love the US anyway. I think it's a great country.
for the most part, it's a pretty great country. But like everywhere, right? We have our issues too.
Yeah, but it's everywhere, like you
Yeah.
say. And what do I know? I'm from Europe, so I don't know what's going on in the US other than the things I can see on TV or
Yeah.
but I know every time I'm over there that I really like the people. I feel very welcome there. I feel appreciated with the band. So that makes it worthwhile.
Yeah, that's cool. Do you see a like a difference in fan base, Europe versus the US?
Um, well, I think the US fans are a little bit more into the extremes when it comes down to music. So when we do an album which is more extreme than the one before, then we see that there's more enthusiasm from the US. And when we do an album that's a little bit more slowed down or melodic than the one before, then we see that the European people are a little bit more happy. So that's always the thing. But what can you do? I mean, I write music because I like it myself, and then when you do like it yourself, there should be other people who like it too. That's usually how I work.
I, I think that's bands that write music that they like and they want to hear, um, that if they stick with that, that's where I think the longevity comes from. When you start writing music to please or appease other people, it doesn't
Yeah,
last,
no, it's not gonna work. No, definitely. I mean, you need to. If it doesn't come from the heart, people will notice straight away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, and when it does come from the heart, then people also notice, and then people there will always be people who like your music. And so yeah, that's what we do. We play the songs we really like ourselves, and then the rest is just going to happen.
Yeah. It it has for 34 years now.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh, is there a time for you that you recall like playing with another band where you thought, man, I never thought we would play with this band and it was so awesome?
Um, well, I guess it already happened many years ago when we got signed to Metal Blade in '96, and they released the Grand Grimoire album. They put us on tour with bands like Cannibal Corpse and Morbid Angel and Immortal and Marduk, and you name them. We played with all of them, Obituary, and those bands were our big examples.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it was already great then to play with all those people. And if we could play with Iron Maiden, for example, then that would be another step up. But that's not going to happen.
Well, you
So
don't
I
know
guess,
that. Bruce is an avid listener of this podcast. I'm pretty sure, maybe.
yeah, but I don't know if he's into God Dethroned. So
He should be, because you guys are pretty freaking fantastic.
yeah, true, that's true. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Well, hopefully someone out there can just call Iron Maiden and say, "Hey, take God Dethroned out on tour with you."
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be super sweet. I love Iron Maiden.
Yeah, me too. I've seen him so many times.
Have you?
Oh yeah.
I've only seen him once, and that was I got to see him with my little brother, and he passed away not long after that, and I'm like, okay,
Oh,
that was my memory with him, so I'll just leave it at that.
oh, that's terrible, man.
Eh, it's life, like it happens.
Yeah, true.
Especially, the older we get, the more it happens. It's like shit.
Yeah, I know. I know. I know.
Uh, but so what do you hope? Like, do you have goals or thresholds that you would like to cross with the obviously the new album and the new label?
Um, well, quite the opposite. I have no expectations at all because I learned that life is a lot easier when you don't have any expectations.
Nothing to let down.
When I was younger, I guess I was always fighting like a lion to get the band as big as possible. And it works to a certain extent, but it brings a lot of stress and frustration at the same time. And now I do not have any expectations, and now I just go with the flow, and the good things will come to you. That's how it works.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Put all your energy into making the music and touring, and
Yeah.
everything else will come to you. So when but I guess with that in mind, did RPM come to you guys, or did you all go to them and say, "Hey, let's see if we can work together"?
No, we informed if they were interested in signing us, and they said yes. As a matter of fact, a couple of people working there were big fans of our band, so it was actually quite an easy step to make.
Awesome.
That's all that happened, nothing
Yeah.
more. It was
No,
really easy job.
that's cool. That's
Yeah,
actually really cool because uh, I mean, you remember the early days of being a band. It was like you fought tooth and nail to get in a door
yeah,
and get anyone to listen. And now, obviously, after a lot of years of the grind of it, people are like, "Hey, yeah, we do like you. Come on."
yeah. Well, we established a decent name over the years, and people value that, and they know they can expect good quality music. So I guess that made the choice a little bit easier for them.
Yeah, yeah. It appears you've never wavered on your musical principles. Always put out good, strong music, which again speaks volumes to your track record, much like the history of everyone at RPM speaks volumes to what they're gonna do too.
Yeah, and that's all there is.
Yeah, for
Whoever
sure.
experience and they know what to expect and what to do, and the rest we will see. The rest
Yeah,
will come by itself.
for sure. So this is the the craziest question. Not really crazy. Have you all started writing more music for the next thing, or
Not yet,
okay?
not yet. I think we'll start writing early next year or by the end of this year, probably. But yeah, so we want to keep the pace this time because there was a big gap between Illuminati, the last one, and the Judas Paradox, the new one.
Yeah,
The gap was a little bit too big. But Illuminati was released a month before the pandemic broke the world. So we managed to do one tour on top of the release of Illuminati. We were lucky to finish that tour, and then the world came to a standstill. We haven't been able to properly promote that album, so that was so frustrating to me that I lost all energy to write a new album. Because normally writing an album takes a lot of energy,
yeah,
but you get all that energy back by playing live. You promote the album, but you get the feedback from the fans and you get positive energy back, which helps you to write another album. But now I put in a lot of energy to write the Illuminati album with the band, and I didn't get the positive energy back. So I felt drained of energy actually. So that's why it took so long to get a new album on a high level. I mean, I didn't just want to write songs. I wanted to write the best songs possible, like we
yeah,
always do. And yeah, it just took more time. That's how it is. And I tried to change that, but it just needed its time, to regain all the energy.
yeah. Well, and that's hard. That was hard on a lot of bands. I think the pandemic, it because they were doing exactly that. I mean, I can't. I don't even know how many bands released music right before the world stopped with like, oh, we're gonna go on tour, and then nothing.
Yeah. And there's bands who took a chance to release an album, like in 2022 or something, thinking that the album would be there right on time, so they would be able to go on tour again. And then it took another year, or at least more than 6 months, or
Yeah,
so. It was a lot of gambling, and it turned out wrong for a lot of bands. Um, yeah, and there were some bands were lucky. They had the energy to write and record during COVID, so they came with a new album right after COVID, and for them it was probably perfect. But it didn't work like that for us,
no,
unfortunately.
that's all right. Like I think I've like you said, everything. you know, everything in its time. Like, yeah, it took you some time to get the energy back up, but I think the Judas Paradox is, uh, it's a solid piece of work. Everything I've heard from it is like, I'm just like, wow, this is so good.
Yeah, it better be after 4.5
Yeah.
years.
There's a band from here that I think you would like. Similar sound to you guys. They're called Volcandra.
Oh,
They just put out a new album a few months ago, and it is absolutely phenomenal.
all right.
Um, so I would say check them out when you have a minute. I think you'll enjoy it.
I will.
Awesome. Henry, I know you've got things going on. I don't want to keep you, so I greatly appreciate your time today. Thanks for coming and hanging out and chatting with me.
My pleasure, man. My pleasure.
Awesome. Have a great day.
Yeah, man. You too, Tom. Bye bye.
Thanks. Bye.